David said he might be a little late. Well, everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Racing.
I'll be right back.
Get Duane and I here for a couple of moments. He's disappearing. Al Pearce, I thought, was going to be here with us today, but he said he's got stuff he's doing with the wife, so real life stuff takes precedent. And David's stuck at Costco waiting to get his tires rotated. A 15-minute job. He's been there for 4 hours, I think. Last I checked, the tires weren't even back on the car yet.
But not yours.
I think what it is, they took them off and forgot to label which ones were which.
I'll have it.
I'm back.
You're back. Sharon disappeared.
Yeah.
What's up with this?
Forgot to put it in here to charge.
No.
Yeah, to win. There it is. But I mean,
Well, I can read right there.
it's right there in yours too, though.
You didn't send it, dummy.
Oh.
I bet it'll come through now.
It might. All right.
Hey, look, there it is.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Sorry about that. What's going on? Are we on yet?
Oh,
We've
yeah.
been on.
Oh,
Apparently
let's talk
so.
racing. Boy, we got a lot to talk about.
We do?
I think so.
All right.
Like there was a lot. I don't know if y'all seen it or not, but there was a lot of complaining about this format this weekend. There was a lot of very disappointed fans. So, yeah, me included. I don't like this format. I think it's very unfair. So,
All your best drivers were not out there racing
exactly.
for the championship.
What?
You know who loves the format? Joey's guy.
Yeah, Joey the loser because he cheated. I did slam a door in your face. Go away.
Well, he disagreed with you wholeheartedly because I saw an interview with him, just a little clip of it anyway.
Who?
Logano.
Well, of course, he's not going to disagree. He became champion, but the one person that I don't really like did, and that was Denny Hamlin. So, for once in my
Denny's
life,
not going to do anything
agreed with
ever.
Denny Hamlin about something.
Denny Hamlin's not going to do anything.
Well, I know I read today that NASCAR is going to try to change it.
Of course they are.
Change what?
The format of the playoffs, because there are so many people that I know that used to watch it that no longer watch racing anymore because they hate the stages, they hate the format. And where's Dave?
He's right here.
That was like magic, Roger.
Magic.
There he is.
They finally let him go over at Costco.
I know I was held hostage for a while.
Did you tell him that I said it was 15 minutes for a rotation? Get a good pit crew over there and get it done in no time.
If you've seen them, that's all they do there. They don't do anything else. They sell, mount, and rotate balanced tires. That's all. They don't do nothing else.
Oil
They don't change
changes, nothing
batteries.
else, right?
Absolutely nothing else. Nothing else. So, woman come in there trying to get a battery done, and the guy told me, he said, that's all we do is tires. And they're just busy, busy, busy. They must make hell of money off of it. That's all I can say.
I like Costco.
I do too. I do too. I wasn't real happy today to make an appointment at 4:30 to drop my car off, only to be told it'd be about 2 hours. And he was right. It was hour and 45, almost hour and 50 minutes. What the
Well,
hell?
we were
Tire
just,
rotation.
yeah.
Tell him
That's all.
tell him you could have had a pit crew come down there and do it in 5 seconds.
Well, my number
Oh,
was 5, but anyway, we were just discussing the format and how unfair it is.
I, I'm just gonna have to plead ignorance because I, it is someone. God, what we hear? I heard somebody talk about that last night on somebody else's post, and uh, I remember the days. Even and it happens at Langley, has happened at Langley in the past, where you're three quarters, 80% there, 90% there of the season, and you already know who the champion's going to be. They almost don't even have to race. Maybe just start a race and they're done. And you've probably seen the same thing. It's been that way in the past too. I had to really laugh though when someone said that. How was it? Joey Logano finished like 14th in the season, yet he wins the race and he's champion. Well, I mean, every single person that drives a race car in that Cup Series knew what the start was going to be, and so did the fans. They just don't like to see it that way. I don't know what else they could do.
Well, there was a message today that I seen that they're talking about changing the format, so I hope so.
I did see that they were going to look at it, discuss it, that kind of thing. I'm not smart enough to really know what they could do that would make it better. You make me a happy camper by okay, keep the stages, but just wave the flag and keep on racing like they did the road courses there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, why have you got to stop the race? When you stop the race, it changes the entire perspective of the race.
Yeah.
I have seen that personally. And how many times has NASCAR been accused of throwing a caution for debris somewhere and nobody could see it anywhere?
Yeah.
And then suddenly they started getting caught by the cameras. And of course, you and I both know what happens if the camera people get too nosy about it. Now, granted, they're under contract, but
Oops,
yeah.
Giving out
Oops, I
points and
threw a
stuff.
water bottle out.
Maybe instead of doing points, they should do it by wins. Whoever that has the most wins, not just, they could still do a chase format, but like, break it down. Whoever has 3 or more wins or 2 or more wins gets to go in for the race. At least you got somebody that won a damn race.
I would not have a problem with that. The most wins, those kind of things. But we had this conversation last week. Look, was Ryan Newman that either won in, got his way in, or something?
The
Didn't win a race at all.
First time they did this playoff format, stages format, Ryan Newman was one of the 4, and he did not have a win, and he got close to winning the whole darn thing. He didn't, of course,
all year.
They didn't have to, just like last weekend, you didn't have to win the race to win the championship. You just had to finish in front of the other 3.
Right.
And he got close to doing it. He was running like second or third, and everybody else was behind him. And went, oh crap, here we go. NASCAR Cup Series has only had one championship. It's only won one drive, had one win during that championship season. And I think it was, I forget his name now, was like the second or third champion ever in the Cup Series. Okay. One that's not in the Hall of Fame.
That wasn't Logano's only win for the year, though.
No, but I'm just saying that, this is how this format started out, showing the flaw right off the very first year. You had somebody who didn't have to win a race at all to win a championship. That never happened. Yeah. It didn't happen, thankfully. So that was my problem with that. We've had, we've had a champion back in the first or second or third year of the series that they only got one win. They didn't have many races back then either. 12 maybe, if that much. But
we'll see. let's see.
No,
They'll come up.
it's the
They'll
whole thing
listen
with the
to.
format with the stages is to not have them get called out on TV by a guy walking down the track from the track crew and bending down and touching his fingers to the track with nothing there to pick up, and then putting it and picking it up and holding it by his side and getting back in the truck, pretending that he cleared some debris off the track. Well, they caught that one time on TV.
Well, I heard the reason the stages were out there to try to make it more fair for winning points and those kind of things as well too.
Right.
But
But
I
we
don't know.
know for many, many years, NASCAR would throw a caution flag when things got too stretched out. The leader had, I mean, they didn't do it all the time, but closer we get to current day, they've done that. I mean, they had the Southern 500, I think it was the year that Ned Jarrett won. He had a 5 lap lead on the second place guy. And he was
Oh,
actually about third or fourth place, and everybody else had blown up or hit the wall or something before he got the lead. And there were like a lap or two between every one of them.
yeah,
Uh,
it'll be interesting, Sharon, to see what they come up with.
this is
Actually,
the
it'll be
only time
interesting.
I'll probably ever agree with Denny Hamlin about anything.
Uh, I
Even he said it was very unfair. So
well, you know, if it was
Well, you
so
know
unfair, Denny,
that Hamlin is
why the
actually
hell did
saying,
you race?
yeah,
because that's what he gets
Nobody
paid
said he
to
had to
do.
start. Nobody said he had to start. It's
Why
his
the hell did you
charter.
sign the charter?
I,
Well, no, because he doesn't drive for his own team. He drives for what Gibbs, doesn't he?
Yeah, drives for
yeah,
Gibbs.
So I
he
mean,
gets
he's
he
getting a
gets he gets
paycheck.
paid twice.
Yeah. So I mean, when you have somebody that has 5 wins and they can't be in for a championship, that to me is just that's like a freaking slap in the face to that driver. All that
Right, but
time he's been, doing this and entertaining your fans, and he can't even run for a championship. What the hell? What the
uh,
hell? Just wrong.
well,
So wrong.
it's like they were talking about Denny, not Denny, Joey finishing at 14th. Hey, how many times have we seen the Final Four, or how many times have we seen Daytona with guys that have all kinds of wins and wins, and suddenly you got the big one that takes out 28 cars,
yeah.
and how many people how many of the big names actually are taken out by it? You just can't. Murphy's Law is gonna put its rule out there, but I agree. It is tough to see how someone with 5 wins can't get into the Final Four, but it's a racing thing,
It's
What's
made me
interesting is
it's made me
this.
want to quit watching. Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
like ready to quit watching.
What is
Not watching
interesting is
anymore.
this is that what they're trying to duplicate is what happened organically, if you will, when Alan Kowicki won the championship. They had, you look at it, that final race was Atlanta. They always finished in Atlanta. They had 4 drivers mathematically possible in the championship. Alan was like second or third. Um, Elliott was, one of the first 2. Davey Allison was one of the other 2. And I forget who the fourth one was, but the fourth one was kind of out. Alan Kowicki, when he had a big wreck at Dover, they tore up 3 cars, I think. And he told his team, said, we're out of it. We're not going to be able to do anything. So it was a shock. And then Davey Allison was wrecked out by Ernie Irvin, of all people, who replaced him later. And the other guy went out. So then next thing you know, it's Allen's leading the race. And he led every lap, and you get bonus points for every lap led.
Yep, back in those
Which is
days.
something I think they should do, actually. Not just one thing they did later saying, get 1 point for the most led laps. Okay. I think you should get a point for at least 1 point for every lap you lead. I mean,
Yep.
maybe we'll see, because they had, the last few races here recently, they had guys win like, it's 3 or 4 guys win 20 or 30 laps apiece. So, but anyway, Alan
You still
Levin
Was
get
that
beat the whole race
could be,
though, and they get like
could,
400
I was going to say,
know.
if they'd have done that, Kyle Larson would have won this year, because what do you have, over 1,600 laps led this year of races?
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody else was close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know
It's
if that
just
would be
tough.
fair or not either.
It's going
Yeah,
to be interesting.
it would make it a
It'll be
lot more competitive.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see
Well,
a couple things: who they involve in the process, and just what kind of things do they listen to, if they change it at all. I mean,
they said there's
they'll
already talk about changing minor things for next year and then a bigger overhaul for 2026. I just think if they just base it on wins, I think you'd see a lot of competition because everybody's going to want to try to get a win.
well,
Well,
and
that's the
I
theory behind this whole system anyway.
I think they would. I think everybody wants to get a win. They're just many can't.
Yeah.
And that's true, and that's unfair for them. But I mean, you've seen some of the underdogs actually get up in there and win because, like races like Talladega and stuff make it easier for an underdog to win.
Well,
If you're in
that
the
and the
right place.
circumstances.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I
I
mean,
mean, rainouts. Then you get the freak that okay.
you
I
make
don't
it through the big
know.
one.
Bubba Wallace wins Talladega when half the field
Well, his was
wrecks
a
out.
rain out. His was a rain
Yeah,
out too.
I'm saying just different circumstances like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's probably is due for an overhaul. And I really do think. I mean, how many? They've been doing this process for 11 years now,
Yeah, I've always
um,
hated it.
something like that. Well, maybe with the onset of all the different things with the Gen 7 car, it is time to have a whole new format. I mean,
Yeah.
your tire goes flat, you're out of the race. You break a toe link, you're out of the race. Um,
That's not, see, to me, that's not fair
Well, see,
neither.
they need to work on fixing the car or fixing the damaged car
Policy,
rule
yeah.
more than anything else because they put themselves in that box. I think Denny Hamlin's been saying a lot of stuff I agree with, which I'm really shocked to be honest. But he's talking about how the cars. No, I'm serious. How the cars are, NASCAR has made, I call it like I've said it before, it was a one-to-one scale model car. Everybody buys the same model in the same box, okay? You buy the same box, the model's in the box, okay? You put it together, you paint it different colors, but everybody's the same model, okay? They sell thousands of model cars every day, and you just have the
Oh,
same one. And so there's no technology in building the car. There's no technology in tweaking the car because you can't really do that. Okay.
well,
You can do some minor adjustments, but the only thing is, used to be, and hell, they did. Steve Johnson's team was doing full engine changes back years ago, and they stopped
but
that,
well,
which makes sense.
if it's that equal though, then why do we only have a top 10 of drivers out there that are always in the lead pack?
Exactly.
Well,
Why
that's the
why
adjustment
why are the
for
same
individual
cars?
suspension. There's
Well,
always going to be adjustments to get the car handling the way the driver wants it, or
100%,
what
100% agree.
the car needs to get around the track properly, and whatever that area is that the driver and the car can come to an agreement to get around the track. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
mean,
always the way that is. I don't care whether it's at Langley Speedway, it's on a drag strip, or uh, any Le Mans, any place like that.
yeah,
But
and we see it with Cliff Baker. I'm sorry, Charlie Daniels. The crew chief driver combination
yeah,
that sync so well together.
Cliff
That makes
Daniels.
a huge difference.
right,
Um, I forget because I repeated a comment the crew chief told the driver a couple of weeks ago. Something to the effect that though if we make the changes you want us to do, we won't finish any better than 25th. So it is what it is. You can adjust the car. You have to
right,
adjust it to fit the driver. Um, but that's what I'm saying. It is a Gen 7 car. Everybody has equally the same. The only thing different are some of the minor adjustments of shocks and springs and those kind of things.
right.
And engines. Some
Mhm.
shops know how to take the engine to that gray line, and some don't. Um, I just, there's probably a $50,000 difference at a minimum between the engine that goes in Joey Logano's car and one that Anthony Alfredo might drive in the back. Um, I mean, hell, look at
Well,
Jeremy.
somebody once said when the Gen 7 car came in, the only thing that was the same was the engine and the steering wheel and the driver. Maybe the
And the
seat.
engine's not the same. I mean, it's the same block and those kind of things, but they tweak those as well too.
But that's the
Otherwise,
only thing that changed from this Gen 6 to the Gen 7. It was the same.
So
The
what
number
doesn't
on
the
the car.
manufacturer have something to do with the engines though as well? I mean, Chevy, Toyota,
no,
they're
it
all
depends on who you
different,
get them
aren't
from. You get engines from Hendricks, Roush, and there's a few others out there that make it. But look at Jeremy. Jeremy was trying to lease engines from the Hendricks Club so he'd have more power. And it's the same way in the Cup District as well too.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Toyota
uh,
gets all their engines from the Toyota factory that makes those
right.
engines. A Toyota Gazoo Racing, because they call it now, because that's their international name.
Well, but the
California.
TRD, yeah, TRD, but they what was it back when the business happened with was it Denny's? They got tore down and it wasn't supposed to. They said that they make something approximately 400 engines a year to cover all the races. And I would like to think because they make them that way, they're the same for everybody. But who knows what happens to them once they show up in the shops? You know.
Well, it's supposed to
Uh,
be some inspection of some sort before they're releasing NASCAR releases them back, whatever. I don't know all the
well, they
details of
are.
that,
There is, and
but
there's seals put on them. So, and it depends on the race of what you have, but yeah, they need the big guy and they need the little guy
right,
involved in the change process of the race format in order to keep everything even and make everybody happy.
right. What
It's
they're
going to be
trying to do,
interesting.
you know what they say. Every time they're trying to do take a rule to save money for the teams, it costs them more money. So they're saying, you have to use the engine so many times and whatever. Formula One has been doing that for the past few years, and it's just running the prices up. What they're doing.
Well, this damn sole source parts and labor
Mhm.
parts for the car is just driven the price of the car up. They'll tell you it's not, but I'd be willing to bet that it is.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that
maybe
as soon as the Gen 7 things came on, there was a lot of people posting on their social media and said, I'm out of a job now.
always
Had
will
nothing to
be.
do with Stuart Haas closing down, but that may have had something to do with Stuart Haas closing down. But
Well, I
they
mean,
just felt like they weren't getting competitive anymore, whatever that reason was. But even before that, when Gen 7 came, a lot of people got laid off because there was nobody needed to fabricate the parts, like the whatever it
yeah.
was, the roll cages and put the body on it, because the body comes from one place. The chassis is three different parts, basically, so on and so.
Well, look how many people got put out of work because they redesigned the gas can and no longer needed a catch can guy.
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
And of course, their whole process behind that is the fewer people across the wall, the safer it is.
yeah.
And I agree with that. That's a good
Yeah,
thing. Yep,
I
yep.
agree with that too.
That was a smart move, I think. But until you get the guy that don't put the cap back on the can and it spills gas all over the pit area.
Yeah, that was cute the other day, wasn't it?
Couple
When
weeks
they
ago,
couldn't
And
yeah.
that
see.
stuff's not cheap.
Well, it's free. It's free to them.
Somebody's paying for it.
Oh,
Because not,
Sunoco does it for sponsorship. It's free to It's free for them for racing.
yeah. That stuff's expensive though. I mean,
And
Oh,
racing
I
it's
know.
very
powerful,
expensive.
strong too. The smell will knock you over.
Especially
Oh
for it to
yeah.
have and it's got ethanol in it too for the help like the
Yeah,
corn growers.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh well.
There you go.
Hey, so what's big in the news this today? I've seen Andre posting all kinds of stuff out there today.
Well,
Well,
I
Sharon's
that
guess
always got them.
Rackley WAR truck team has been running for 4 years now. They're going to move to North Carolina.
You
They're
got to.
Tennessee before.
You got to be in the Beltway. You got to be in the Beltway with everybody else.
Speaking of which, Jerry Clements is one of the few teams in the top three teams that stay at home. I mean, he's in South
Well, I mean,
Carolina, so it's not
yeah,
that
he's not.
far away from
Yeah,
Charlotte, but
he's not. He's not that far from all of that.
right.
yeah,
What do you think?
about an
What do you think?
hour, a little over an hour from Charlotte. So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. What do you think about the post at the Bowman Gray being renovated for NASCAR race? Where you reckon that money's going to come from? You reckon they'll get as much money as the oh
Coliseum,
damn no, the other one in North Carolina that got rehabbed and is almost dead.
Wilkesboro.
Yeah, North
Wilkesboro.
Wilkesboro. You
Well, they
reckon they'll see
can't
that
do
kind of
with
money?
so much because it is a football stadium, which a gentleman mentioned from Channel 8 down there. But
Well,
they
if I
pulled up all the old guardrail, and he said maybe they'll repaint everything red and white again. Red and white goes back to Winston, And
they're
that's
not going
kind
to
of
do
for
that.
the NASCAR color, but at least it's on the short tracks. I mean, everything
Well,
in red and white at Langley, for example, that they donated gallons and gallons of paint. And I think back in those days, they finally got a bunch of volunteers to come out and paint everything red and white.
well,
at Langley.
back in the day, NASCAR used to provide racetracks with the paint.
Yeah. Well, Winston
When you
said,
had to get,
if you'll paint it red and white, we'll give you the paint.
we give you paint. I know
I was
long,
reading
long.
a thing with the gentleman that did White Crown Engineering. He built the cars that were on that movie, Stroker Ace movie. And made a lot of money off of that, but they built some cars, and they said when they had a hauler, Winston came to them and said, "If you will let us paint the hauler, put our name, Winston Cigarettes, on the hauler, we'll put your information on it too, but we will paint the entire hauler for you." So they did.
Oh yeah,
And that
So
paint,
what did Anthony Alfredo do that he got fined
you
25,000?
read my mind. I was just pulling that post up
he
under
ran
it.
over somebody, I'm thinking.
Code of
Oh,
conduct when he wrecking Stephen Parsons,
Yeah.
Stephen
I
or
know, I
Stephen
thought he
Parsons.
rear-ended somebody or did something, so I wasn't sure
That's who it
which one.
was. He
Yeah.
wrecked Stephen or Stephen, however you want to pronounce his name, Stefan, Stephen Parsons. So it must have been pretty serious for them to hit $25,000
Yeah,
and
it took them a
25
while to come up
points.
with that, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it
So what
did.
was the big exciting moment from the last race, like the pit car hitting the water barrel?
I thought that was absolutely fabulous.
And from every and
And that
from
is a
everything.
real Supra,
Oh my
not one of those
God.
fake
It was
race
like,
car Supras. And
who
that's a
the
great
hell
way
was
to
driving
demonstrate
the
how great a
pace car?
Supra is
That's
by
what I want to
wrecking it.
know. And what was he either smoking or drinking?
No,
A
no,
water barrel.
that's not what I want to know. I want to know is does he still have a job?
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably did
Hey,
drug testing
Formula
or
One
something.
had somebody wreck their, they call it safety car, because
Yeah,
they
they call it
start
a
from
safety
standing
car.
start. But it was a Aston Martin safety car, because now they got two brands of safety car. I guess the other one's a Ferrari. I don't remember.
Whew.
But somebody was driving the Aston Martin safety car during a Formula One race. I think it was this year, and ran off the track.
I don't
Well,
know what was
Passing one
funnier,
of the bands
that
and
or
ran
when
off the
Juan
track.
Pablo hit the dryer. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
well, that was
they
funny.
should have like a blooper reel of all this stupid stuff that happens.
Well, the best one is the guy in Talladega back when they had Pontiac with Firebird pace car, and the guy told pace.
I mean, even the fans have done crazy things though. Like you had, fans climbing over the fence and running out there when the race was stopped, getting like Denny Hamlin's autograph and weird shit.
Actually, I think it was
What about the guy that climbed the fence or climbed over and he was naked?
Yeah, I mean, they should have a blooper reel with all this weird stuff, man. That would be funny to watch.
Yeah, I told Roger not to do. I told Roger not to do that though.
I never listened to you.
The
Probably
yeah, it would.
inserted
Yeah, what I
alcohol
heard,
for anything.
I don't remember exactly what was said, but I heard there were two or three of the drivers made some really funny comments over the radio about the pace car hitting the sandball things there. So at least there was some levity involved in.
yeah. Well, there's been a few years ago, a guy crawled up the fence on the outside, going into turn one, and was sitting on where it angled in, and it took a few laps for the police and whoever to get him to hell for the damn fence. So I think they put a caution flag out for that.
There was they did that in Richmond too.
That's what I'm saying. In Richmond, it was that way.
Yeah.
That was a few. I missed that one. I wasn't there when that happened.
I was down there when that happened. I said, "Holy shit!"
So what else is new?
One of those things that what were you thinking?
Let's see.
So I guess we've already seen all the posts that FedEx is not going to be back with Denny next year.
Yeah, well, that was coming because we knew it was coming because all of a sudden FedEx was not sponsoring every race.
Yeah.
I mean,
Makes you wonder.
my question is, some of these sponsors that have been sponsoring him, our Trackhouse has got one too. It's called Tootsie's Bar. I think it's a bar and grill or something like that. But do they only have one? Does Tootsie's only have one spot? I mean, how can you afford to sponsor a cup car even for one race if you've only got one location? Maybe they do. I do not know.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I
Roger
sponsored on a car.
Huh?
I've sponsored on a car several times.
I know, but not the primary sponsor.
Not
The
the
car
whole
was
car.
painted in PC Doctor's colors with your little PC Doctor guy on the side of the car. Everybody else is a minor sponsor. I mean,
Did you
it's
see
like
Noah
Mavis
Gregson?
Tires on Denny's car, who's Mavis? And where's her tire shop at? I want to know. I have these
And
questions.
You
Noah
see
left
that
his
one, Noah
helmet.
Gregson?
He left his
Hey,
helmet
what?
on the airplane
Noah Gregson, he lost his helmet
on a
on a
on
flight in Charlotte.
American Airlines.
I'm
Oh
assuming
my
he had a
God.
helmet bag for that. Usually they have a helmet bag. You get a helmet, get a bag and get
Oh, I love
How
that
do
when
you
Austin
lose
found his clothes and he can't do anything.
how do you lose your helmet though? Did he like leave it there?
Was he drinking too many celebration drinks on the plane? Who knows?
Oh, what the hell would he be celebrating?
But
I
it's
don't know.
over
Being
with.
through another season, I have no idea.
It's over with.
And he's got a job next year, maybe.
Yeah. I, he did sign with someone.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of, I guess, still a lot of questions out there. I mean, I'm still, it's going to be, you can't tell anybody without a scorecard. It's just to stay in the old baseball games, and that's what's going to happen at Daytona. Actually, going to happen at Bowman Gray. Because you're going to have all these cars out there. They may have the numbers familiar, and it may have like Denny Hamlin have his font. It looks like two exclamation points basically. But who's that? And I can recognize it's a car, but I'm not sure which car, and I don't know who's driving it. I don't, who's driving number 11 this year, or who's driving this car that year, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be, Wood Brothers are going to have um, driving a four car. I don't remember. He should be good for that.
Josh Berry?
Josh
Josh
Berry.
Berry. Yeah, I like Josh Berry. I like
Yeah,
him.
well, he's done a lot with that team in the last part of the year. I mean, they already knew. Was it mid-season? They said, we're
But
not going to be back next year, except for Mr. Haas is going to have one car and a couple of Xfinity cars or whatever.
where did
Uh,
Harrison go though? He doesn't have a ride, does he?
I
I don't
think
think
he's
he
going
does.
back to Xfinity, I believe. I don't know. I don't know if there's been
Oh,
an announcement on that or not.
that's sad when you have to go backwards, but
Yeah,
I
but
do, I do. But the Xfinity race was something else now. I'll say that much. I was on
yeah,
the edge of my seat there. So I gotta
yeah.
give kudos to
00 is leading
Sharon.
pretty good, and all of a sudden that last caution flag messed him up really bad.
I have to give it to Justin. Boy, he fought that all the way because he was even down a lap and came back.
Yeah,
So I was like, wow. I was actually finding myself kind of cheering for him, even though
yeah.
I really wanted AJ to get it because I know AJ is moving up to the Cup Series next year, and it would have been nice. But I mean, I don't think Justin's gotten a championship neither, so that was a big deal for him, and he fought that. He deserved that win, no
Well,
doubt.
doesn't Allgaier one of the guys that would prefer to say run the Xfinity races because he's got more time with his family that way? I don't know.
Yes,
I know AJ, Al Almendinger goes up and back and down. He's staying with Colleague basically, and Colleague, I think something about came up this year saying that if they didn't have sponsorship they wanted for 25, then Almendinger would move up and take in its seat. If they got enough sponsorship, then somebody else would be in it. So
yeah.
he's very loyal to Mr. Colleague, and probably make enough money to do whatever. Guy says, "Why don't you run whichever series it is?"
Yeah.
Got a good contract,
Oh,
so he's
Andre just put out here that Larry Mack and Denny Hamlin got into an argument today over Larry's radio show's quotes. I did not hear it, so I don't know
well.
what he
Denny
said.
was ticked off, saying you shouldn't be talking about it if we don't know what they're talking about. But that didn't stop anybody yet, including us.
This is true. Very
I don't
true.
think many people are listening to Danny anymore.
To who? Denny?
Danny.
Well, like I said, the one time I've agreed with him, and that's the only time I ever have. But I think he was he on Dale Jr.'s show, the Dirty Mojo
Yeah.
thingy, whatever?
Yeah.
Well, like Dirty Mo Media's got a ton of things on there. It's got that door bumper clear thing. That guy found it, and he said he has done that now. He got 300 episode 355, which I can't imagine how many it was. But anyway, there he's done with that. So it's one of the spotters, and one of them was another spotter was on that show was one of the ones that got suspended for the last race. Um, I,
Hard
I
time.
don't know. There is so much of that stuff going on now. I mean, I'm not up on it at all, to be honest. But my gosh, if you were listening to all that stuff, you would not have a lot of time to yourself. I mean, Harvick's got Tuesday and Thursdays.
Yeah,
We do
the
talk.
Happy Harvey Hour or
Yeah,
whatever.
they do. The Tuesday shows talking about the race on the weekend, and Thursdays talking about what's coming up next week, yada yada.
And the thing is,
Uh,
they've all said the same thing too. If Joey Logano wins this, people are going to be very disappointed with this format, and it's pretty much what's happened. So, yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Well, they're all really pissed off because he got put back in because the other one got out.
yeah. Well, that's
Um,
part of what's going on with that because people are saying he didn't deserve to be in, but conspiracy theories are running wild, saying
of
48 car
course.
got kicked out.
I mean,
So,
you know what? Money will buy anything if you have enough of it.
yeah, and that's how the 24 car got in there, didn't
I don't know. No,
it?
not really. I mean, I don't know because that was,
right?
I hate to say
He,
it, but he shouldn't have rode the wall like that. That was Briscoe's fault. So he got
It wasn't as long as what Ross did.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing that killed him is he accelerated and they got it on radio. If he wouldn't have accelerated, I think he would have been okay. But when he accelerated, that made him think that he was using that wall to get it, to do. Even though he didn't advance or anything, he still did an illegal move, and that's what hurt him.
Well, he did try to pull off because the car pulled to the left, but the centrifugal force pushed it back to the right.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
had the
The
tendency
only
to do
thing
that
that
when you got your
I've
pedal
defended
to
him
the
on
floor.
that. I've defended him on that,
Just a wee bit.
and not just because it was
Oh boy,
because it
that
was a
ought to be
Chevrolet,
big.
but
Oh my God. Andre just posted that Kenny Wallace and Ken Schrader's show starts on Dirty Mo Media today.
I am not
That
watching
will
that.
be interesting to have them two
Schrader's fine.
together.
It'd be interesting to hear Schrader, but
Yeah, Kenny's.
Herman, as they call him,
Oh
drives
my
me
God.
nuts. Okay, drives me nuts. Not gonna listen to that one. I'm skip right over that one.
Kenny's usually pretty
He's not
good.
gonna hurt Dirty Mo Media at
I
all.
don't know. Those two together is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's the reason they did that. They're still
Yeah,
driving, and of course, Herman, as he's known as, is still driving dirt track stuff and all that. Schrader got Federated Auto Parts, has been a sponsor for a decade or better now.
Years, yeah.
Yeah, years and years and years.
I had Kenny do a video bite for Faith way back in the day. We
Oh,
ran into him up at Saluda, and I was talking with him. And he asked me where my wife was. I said, "Well, she's not here this time." I said, "Here, why don't you do a video thing for her?" And he sat right down and did it for about a 30-second video clip. Where
nice.
are you?
mm.
That was nice.
It's somewhere on YouTube.
We're all somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm all over YouTube.
Maybe. I don't know if he's been posting anything in the last 5 years.
Nah,
You haven't been posting the show on YouTube?
no, because I've got to set up a different account so I can get stuff set up because somebody hacked my account before and I wound up losing it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because I keep telling people if you don't catch the show, you can watch it on YouTube. Well, I'm a big fat liar.
Catch it on Facebook.
We go Facebook for Let's Talk Racing. That's where it's on. That's where I connected to it when I was trying to
I
get
mean,
on and
I
I
share
goofed
it on
up.
my personal page and I share it on the MDR page as well, but
Yeah,
still.
I put it on my personal page as well. I don't know how many people watching. One of my
Andre wants to know if you have a
colleagues
cold,
on
Roger.
the NASCAR fantasy racing things watches it a lot.
Roger. Roger.
What?
Andre wants to know if you have a cold. He said you sound like you have a cold.
I got the starting of one.
My
Well, he's
allergies.
got two
My
pair of eyeglasses on
allergies,
his nose
boy.
because that doesn't
Woo.
help.
My allergies have been horrible the last few days.
Speaking of which,
I love
I'm still
Roger's
waiting for you to
prescription
show up and
glasses.
buy some glasses from me from where my office is, and I'm not working tomorrow, so don't come down.
I thought he already did. He didn't
He
make
sent
that,
the
huh?
prescriptions to me, and I was able to get them in my system. A little work to do that, but I was able to get it. So, and I held set up an order for his contacts, and all he had to do was come and pay for that. He didn't want to got any glasses, but anyway, it's in the system.
I'll get the glasses, but I'm gonna pick out the frames.
Hey, you
So
picked that
I
big
don't know. I kind
monster
of like
frame this
your.
past time. We got new frames going up on the wall right now. Well, they're not right now because they've been going for 30 minutes at work. But
I kind of like your
next,
minion look you got going on now, Roger.
with that pair of reading glasses he picked out, he said, I said, those are pretty big. You want those? I said, yeah, I want those. Okay, fine. Now here, a year later, he's going like,
his minion look.
yeah.
Look at him, Sharon. Sharon, look at him.
I did send. Did you guys see the new schedule? I posted it on the Let's Talk Racing, and it's even got like what time and what channel they're going to be on.
Well, they have to do that because they've got multiple channels now, including Prime Video in the middle of the year.
I can't
600.
believe that the Clash is going to be February 2nd. It just doesn't. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's a
and
couple
Bowman
of
Gray
months.
Stadium, and it might be cold.
Oh, it'd probably be a little chilly still. Yeah.
It
At
might
Bowman
even
Gray, I would
snow. Who
think so.
knows?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Bowman
What do you
Gray
think
is a
about
lot in the east part of
what do you think about the conversation piece that's been going on since the championship that it needs to be moved to somewhere other than Phoenix next year?
You know what I think they should do?
Every
Honestly,
year.
I think they should put all the tracks in a damn thing like a lottery and let the balls fly and they pick it that way randomly and just like whatever track it is,
well,
it is.
Like a
I
lottery.
forget where we're at. Maybe with
Exactly
the race
like the
broadcast.
lottery. They need to move that final race because it's always out west and the people, out here, we don't get to go unless we fly out there or whatever. And I know I can't afford to do that all the time.
Well, I
Well,
think that I don't know if
they
it's a
do
race
that because of
broadcast.
weather.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
true
But
too.
you know what?
I
I mean,
think that the race broadcast
you know what?
itself is going to come out much
Put
more
your
important
damn
they
big
will on
boy
the track.
pants on and your freaking long johns and let's go to New Hampshire for the final race.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
you
that
won't get
cold.
get
Yeah,
people
you'll have snowplow races first.
people won't buy the tickets for it though. That's the downside. Well,
Real
Miami's
race
the
fans
perfect
will. Real
yeah,
race.
Miami's the
I've
perfect
sat
place
in
to
the
be.
rain. I have sat in the snow. I mean, come on.
Atlanta was the final race for a long time. In fact, I've got a CD someplace that Winston put out about songs about during going through the season. And one of the songs says that if I make it to Atlanta, Atlanta is the last race of the year. So if I
Well,
make it to Atlanta, I could win the championship, yada, yada, yada kind of thing.
then just put it in places where it's going to be warm, but shake it up. I mean, it was like 75 degrees here the last race.
Hey, run it, Coda.
Isn't it I know you posted it, Sharon. Oh, there it is.
I mean, the Texas Speedway is actually rented Coda to run one of those races they had instead of running both of them on that boring track. Everybody hates it.
You don't have to put all of them. You could just, put some of them and just let a lottery ball pick
I
it.
tell you what, if they want to
And then
make that
build the
Texas track
schedule around it.
interesting, they make a roval out of it.
I liked it. I'm glad the Roval's back next year too. I thought they were getting rid of it, but it's on the schedule, the Roval. So that's what they should do. And then if it picks a track that already has 2 races, then put something else there.
Well, Richmond's only going to have one this coming year because they're going to Mexico, and that's going to be on Prime Video.
Well, it's not on the schedule, is it? No, I see it. Mexico City.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or 5 races
Ju-
in the middle of the season, including the World 600 race
June 15th.
before the 600.
Yeah.
Mexico, I think, is after that, and one other. There's like 4 or 5 races, and they're all on Prime Video. So get
Charlotte,
your Amazon
Nashville,
membership
Michigan.
up to speed.
just like the All-Star race. I think they should mix it up too. That one could be like a random ball pick too.
Yeah.
But they've only done it like, was it once now or maybe twice at Bowman Gray? I mean, not Bowman Gray, but
Wilkesboro. Yeah. But I mean, that's
yeah.
something that they could shake up too. So you'd have it like at the end of the season and in the middle of the season. I mean, you can't
I think
take
the
away
reason
the
they don't want to
Daytona
do it
500.
late
That
in the
just
season
can't
is
happen.
because people get distracted about building a car. Of course, we are talking about Gen 7, but everybody's going to build a car for that one race. And if it gets wrecked, they're going to push it aside and keep on going, which is one thing they used to do anyway.
See, now Sonoma's back. Sonoma wasn't this year, was it? We didn't go to Sonoma this year, did we?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I remember.
I don't think
I
we
know, I
did.
like Sonoma. That is a great track. It's a nice location. If you're setting up on a hill, you can actually see most of
Yeah.
the race.
Just a guy that remembers holds the trophy. It's got that wine glass on it. Don't hold the trophy up because the wine glass will fall off. One of the guys doing
I
it one year
only
going, hey,
I
crash.
only see one off week. That's kind of odd. Well, I guess we had the Olympics, so that's why we had so many off weeks this time, and everything
Yes.
kind of.
Yes.
No
I,
Olympics this year.
I truly hope this is the
Yeah.
2025 is the last year
It's the
for the
World Cup.
Chicago street race. I hope they get rid of the Chicago street race and do something else.
Not next
Yeah.
year. It's
Yeah.
going to be on, I think it's going to be on Prime, actually.
Well, no, it's there
Uh,
next year, but I mean the
no, it's on
following.
TNT.
Yeah,
TNT.
it's on
TNT.
TNT.
Yeah.
It'll be,
But
they're
Um,
going to
I
try to find
seen this
TNT
and I thought it
again.
was really cool. I need to print this so that I can have it all the time. So, and then it shows you where your playoff ones are. If you scroll over, you can see the playoffs and
yeah.
round 6, the round of 12, the round of
One is
8.
the last one of the regular season.
But they kind of changed it because now it's Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville.
Did you
So
notice that the winner of the regular season this year, they took pictures and showed the trophies, but there was no NASCAR officials there because it was the Toyota. Yep.
Oops, Miami. It's a pretty mixed. It's just,
The
I
biggest
guess
thing
like
that I've been complaining about for years is, particularly the poor guys in the Xfinity season, they go all the way to Portland for a road race, and then they come all the way back to somewhere in the middle of the countryside. I
well,
mean,
that's what they're going to do.
the series
They're
has
going to
not
run.
had any consistency or any making
Yeah,
any sense, if you
they
will,
go.
about how they go around. I mean, they get
They
some of these teams that the truck driver is driving 4 days straight. A couple, day and a half to get out there in California and day and a half to get back. They run in Sonoma one weekend and they run, I know, Atlanta the next weekend, which doesn't make any sense at all. You should.
it's rough. I think our roughest one was from Phoenix to Bristol. That was rough. And then there was one where we went from Pennsylvania, from Pocono to Sonoma. Oh my God. Yeah. Those are
Can't get
rough.
too much farther apart than that.
No. And
well,
the
they're going
thing
to
is, I
Chicago,
mean,
and
I
then
realized we were pulling a race car, but we weren't pulling, the car, car hauler. Those guys team. He was a solo driver. So we had like 3 days to get from Pocono to Sonoma.
well, they're going this time. They're going to do Atlanta, Chicago, then Sonoma, then come back to Dover, then Indianapolis, and then go
Oh,
out to Iowa. I mean, really.
that's Dover to Iowa is not that bad because that's only
Yeah, it
halfway
looks
across the
like
country.
my
But
little
from
2-year-old
Sonoma to get
grandchildren
Sonoma
are
over, boy, that's a rough
scribbling
one.
on the map, and they're making it connecting the dots.
This is where this comes in though. So the Sonoma car is going to be a road course car. If they're going from Sonoma to Dover, that Dover car is actually going to come from Charlotte or wherever their shop is and then go. So they're going to have a different hauler driver probably do that. A lot of you guys don't know that, but they got like 3 hauler drivers and sometimes they
If they
tag
can,
team and they
yeah,
solo.
that's for the teams that can afford to have that. Yeah.
They have two
Right.
different trucks, for crying out loud.
Yes.
They can
How
rent
much
them.
money does that cost?
Oh, they can rent them.
I know they can rent them, but usually paint up in team colors, and the trailer's painted up in all the different colors. So you can
Yeah.
rent the tractor
Well, I mean,
excuse me, not
even
Hertz,
if
but
they're
from
coming from
Penske.
Sonoma, they're going to come back to Charlotte. They can do that in a. If there's two drivers in the truck, they can do that in an hour and a half. Or, I mean, a day and a half. That's a day and a half trip. So, because while one's sleeping, the other one's driving. So, I mean, they're gonna get that truck's gonna stop to just fuel and eat, and that's it. And a lot of times, like we would fuel, grab a Subway sub, and we were eating while we were riding. So,
So
and
Dale Earnhardt
Andre just
Jr.
posted
will be a NASCAR commentator for
NASCAR
TNT Sports
commentator.
Amazon.
Well, you reckon he's making a little money this year?
Oh,
who's that?
he's making more money this last few years than he ever made driving a race car.
Oh, always guaranteed that. Well, I mean,
I mean, Junior's always been on there though, commentating. Wasn't he on? He's been on before.
Oh yeah, he has. I'm just
Yeah,
saying it's just he left one series to go to another series because it
right.
was
Well, he's looking at middle of the
well they call it Dirty Mo Media. It's actually Dirty Mo Money.
yeah. But
More money, more money, more
Just
money.
what he
this
needs because he doesn't have enough. So
broadcasting thing he's doing actually the mid-season stuff. It's got TNT and Amazon, so he's not going to be doing it for the whole season. He's going to be, of course, nobody can because the way they've got the thing set up is split in two at least the last few years. Now they got TNT and Amazon and then Fox and NBC, so like four on Cup side. The only thing that's different is CW is going to be all the Xfinity races.
what happened to the cup drivers, helping out with the Xfinity races? They used to go on and like help with the Xfinity races, and I didn't see them doing that this much this year.
Well, if they're not doing any races that are on the same weekend, it's going to be hard for them to do that.
But I'm just saying they were doing it, and I just hadn't seen it lately at all,
Yeah.
period. So I didn't know if they just stopped doing it or what, because that was kind of neat having them guys in there kind of giving their point of view about what the Xfinity guys were doing. So, and I don't understand why they don't have some of the Xfinity guys come on and do the cup races, because I think it would help them with their racing as well, watching those races and maybe commentating a little bit. Although it might interfere with them getting to their next
Yeah,
event.
people don't know who they are basically. Except for Jeremy Clemens, he's been getting some good airtime in the last few weeks.
I
Uh,
noticed that.
they cut back from an ad and they got Jeremy's car on the screen and saying he's set another record this week in 300 and however many races is consecutive. So
Yeah, he's done that.
he
So
keeps going a couple of other seasons. He's going to have the record for the top
I
three
don't.
series of all time. He's going to be the Iron Man for sure.
And how come Xfinity drivers don't get nominated into the Hall of Fame?
Well, they have done a
That's a good
few short
question.
track drivers in a recent one, but of course the thing has all changed around now. They only do a couple each time now. They used to do half a dozen or so. You do have well, Al told us about that one that they were talking about. I think it was Alan Kowicki, and then somebody before the break said mentioned some other good short track driver, and then he took a break, and the next thing you know, the guy that one of the NASCAR people mentioned was elected into the Hall of Fame, and Kowicki wasn't. He had to wait another year to get in. He was so that's been finagled too. And
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yep.
everything's finagled.
Yeah, and they'd say, well, we got to have some modern people in there so people will pay attention. But you didn't have to put all the Friends family in the first 2 years. I don't know.
Really.
I mean, that's like four different spots you could have put in for the first 2 years. I mean, the gentleman that was the owner of the first ever championship team for Cup, now called Cup, was still alive in that first year. And they finally put him in. He'd already passed away.
Oh,
You know,
that
he
figures.
he donated a bunch of trophies to it. And Dale Earnhardt Sr. said, "This man's the godfather of NASCAR racing. He loaned money to Bill France to keep the series going." And they totally ignored the man until he passed. And, he wasn't young as it was. So the man always wore a suit and a tie and a hat. There's one picture where he actually took his jacket off and was changing the tire, still in his suit with his hat on. Um, you know, um, Anyway, we're under them now. They don't pay attention to anything prior to 1972 anyway.
Well, that's ancient history, 50 years ago.
Yeah, well, they say the modern era, and the main reason for the modern era is because Winston kicked in, about that time. Um, their records were crappy anyway. If you look on places like racing records and stuff, you will see a lot of the racing records will have for different uh, races that are now part of the Cup Series that are the early series races that a lot of times it won't have car owners. It won't have sometimes it won't have the brand of the car. Sometimes it won't have the number of the car. It'll say so and so finished 25th, and that's all they got on that one line.
Yeah, they
And it
get
may
that.
not be listed any money. Now, back in the day, sometimes the guys would lead races to get the bonus stuff at Big Bill France said people donate. Like somebody said he led a certain race because he got a box of cigars. He used to prize money for leading each lap.
Yeah.
Leave
Well,
$100 for this lap. Back in the early days, somebody donated a box of cigars or something like that.
I mean, but it's like we get you a free set of tires if you lead the midterm or
Yeah,
midpoint of the race or
you had a
leading the
sheet
lap. But
in your program that
well,
gave you all the prizes they gave out
yep,
during the entire race. Whoever
yeah.
led the first lap, the next to last lap, the midfield lap, the mid race lap was a big one,
I
and a lot of
remember
people
back.
fought for that.
I remember back in the day at Langley Speedway, we had a lot of things that would be donated, given to the winners of the race. Like there was one night that was Craftsman night, Sears Craftsman night. That each winner got a toolbox with tools in it and jacks or jack stands and those kind of things. And but you just don't see that too much anymore. And yeah, sure, it's money, but there's a lot of companies out there would mind giving stuff away for them to be able to say that they were a sponsor for that race and had some advertisement to go out of it. But
Okay, certainly.
PC
Whatever
concert
didn't you
night. Let's
do?
give away computers.
Kind of like Dash for Cash type of thing. Only
Yeah.
you get prizes instead.
um,
Yeah, well, you have some tracks. I don't know about stock cars did so much, but the other places, sprint car stuff had what they call a stray in pursuit. They put, I don't know exactly how they laid it out, but when the leader passed somebody, they got knocked out. So there's like 5 or 6 of them on the track, and how many were left after like 10 laps or something like that.
like the big one, huh?
Yeah, so if the guy caught you, you park your car. So interesting stuff. There's a lot of stuff went on like that back in years ago, and I'm sure some tracks do that. NASCAR's
Well,
kind
we
of got
got
away
the
from it.
we got the schedule. We know there's only going to be 32 charters.
Has that
so,
been
so
determined for sure already? I didn't hear
I
no,
that.
think
not
they're
for
At
still
this point in
fighting
nothing's
time,
that. We won't know
nothing
until
is for
February
sure.
2nd.
at this point
No,
in time, put it that way.
Yeah.
well, it's well, they lost their injunction to have the court make them do it. So it'll have to see how everything else comes out too. But
There's more shit
it,
in
it,
the coffee cup.
yeah. Well,
That's a
and
weird
then
place for it to be.
the thing about this suit is that you're talking millions of dollars of what they're for all purposes, all points. Um, and I mean, even no matter how you look at it, Denny and them are still kind of a win-win because even if they are not chartered, they're going to be short some money and some points, but they'll come out smelling like a rose anyway because they've got good cars and good drivers. Sorry, I said that about Denny.
I know it just hurt to say that. I'm
I
sure they'll
won't hurt
find
Kenny
another
because
sponsor.
as an owner,
Maybe
he's going to be
UPS.
driving the other car. It'll be interesting to see exactly what kind of sponsor it is. That car is going. Well, that car changed colors anyway. They spread out the advertising.
Yeah.
There's FedEx stuff, FedEx Ground, FedEx Air, FedEx Business, or whatever. Yada yada yada. A dog on there one time. But in the last few years, they had been FedEx raised. So that was showing us cutting back money, and that happens. I mean,
Have we
Interstate Batteries was the major sponsor for Joe Gibbs back when he had a Chevrolet and it first ran the first year. They all had that nasty green color on every race. That's
have,
their signature
Bill
color.
Jarrett. Bill
And
Jarrett.
now
have
you
we
see it
heard it?
once a year.
Have we heard anything on any new sponsors next year? No new ones.
Not really too much
Still,
now.
let's see.
It may still be too
More
early for
about
that, I
dropping
guess.
out than coming in.
Oh yeah, well, somebody's got to replace them eventually, even if it's okay, you got the hood and you got the trunk and I got the top and
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Roger can sponsor a car this year, the whole car.
I got $5.
Hey, somebody can get desperate enough, they'll take $25 and give you a fender.
I got $5 too. I might even be able to go 20. Damn.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Hey, I need to go back and watch our show from last weekend. I can't remember for the hell of me whether I picked Joe Logano or not.
I think I did. Pretty sure.
Maybe you and I did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I said
I
Logano and then possibly Blaney. I'd rather have Blaney, really, because Blaney would have been 2 in a row, which they mentioned several times on the broadcast hadn't been done in a long, long time. But Logano winning 3 championships, despite what Sharon might think and others, it's the first time we've had somebody win 3 championships in quite some time too. The first one, I guess, was Lee Petty. Go from there. And of
But
course,
Jeff Gordon won 4, and Jimmy Johnson won 5, hadn't he?
Jimmy's got 7.
it's 7.
So I thought that was
Earnhardt
Richard
did
Petty.
7.
7.
Petty did 7 first. Earnhardt finally did 7.
7.
And then JJ, the schnook, he got 7. I'm thinking about cheating.
These
They
are
all
under
did.
the old format.
Yeah, old format. And Chad Canals, the most dangerous man in NASCAR. I've always called him that because,
So was Richard Petty's under the old format. You go out
So
and win a race
well,
with.
Richard Petty. One thing that Kyle
all of them
has
that did the
pointed
7
out
championships were
is
under the old
if you
format.
look at his championships for Richard Petty, every race, every championship he won had different format than the other ones because they were
Yeah.
experimenting very much with changing the formats around. One year they had bonus points or some crap, and the way it was set up, whoever won Daytona, which is the first race of the year, then not Riverside, anything like that, basically was the champion already because nobody could make up those bonus points they were doing. I think they were doing it because prize money. And Daytona's always had more prize money than almost everything else. So
Yeah.
one Daytona, and you got this huge payday, and you got the points toward, how many dollars you won, then you could just coast for several weeks before you have to worry about it.
See,
So,
now that would be an interesting concept too. If you win the Daytona 500, you're automatically in for the championship. Or they could do that with a few random races.
Well, they call him
That
the
would be
Daytona. They call the
interesting.
Daytona 500 champion, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't get to run for
Champion.
the
Actually,
championship.
Joey Logano is scheduled to be on Weather Channel this morning. I didn't see it. I was getting ready to go to work.
I don't have the weather
He did
channels.
a Today Show, one of the morning hours of it, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
mentioned that each one of the team members got to have the trophy for a day or a week, and I don't think it was the real trophy, but still,
Well, it's like the
so
Stanley Cup. They do that now with well, they've been doing it for years for the Stanley Cup guys. The interesting thing is Stanley Cup, the National Hockey League, has got some people that actually go around stewarding, if you will, or being uh, bodyguards for the Stanley Cup. They got a
well, they
special
had to,
race, and
yeah.
they fly it around, and they buy a seat on a plane to put it in the seat, strap it in.
The Xfinity guys are going to have a Rockingham race.
Yeah.
So according to current speculation, Riley Herbst is the most likely candidate to be the third driver for 23 and 11 racing in 2025. It's if they're so concerned about losing money, how the hell they got money for a third team, and where are they going to get a third charter from?
Yeah, that's interesting concept there.
Yeah, because they'd have to sign a contract for it, wouldn't they?
Sign the contract, buy
I
it,
would think
whatever.
so.
What
I just
who was Ronnie Herbst driving for this past year? Was it?
I was trying to think of the same thing, and you asked that, and I went blank. He's a good driver. I just don't think he's there yet. You know what I mean?
Was he driving there's a Ford that had Monster on it, which is talking about Monster, but there was also some other car had Monster on it, so I'm not sure which car he was driving.
Do we have any new drivers coming up next year?
Where
I
are they
think we
going to
do.
go?
So I mean, you've got some moving up. Sawallich, doesn't he have an Xfinity race? Juniors guy, they come out of the Cars Tour, moving up into Xfinity Series. So there'll be some promotions up next year. It'll be interesting to see.
Well,
'Cause that's
Sawallick
why-
is like 18 or 19 years old at the most. I mean,
Yeah.
he's pretty
Well,
good
look
for
at
what he is.
Damn, I can't remember a junior driver that's moving up from the Cars Tours into Xfinity, and that's who the local Langley Speedway's champion and the late model stock car NASCAR champion for the year has moved over to Junior Motorsports for the Cars Tours. because Junior's driver in the Cars Tours moved up to Xfinity. Therefore, I mean, it was like chess pieces. There were so many of them moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
See
trying to think
where
of the name of the guy that you're talking about. He won the championship 2 years in a row.
well, damn, I had his name on the tip of my tongue too.
Yeah. His car he ran at Langley was a 55, if I remember correctly.
No, that's Mark Wartz. Mark
Okay.
Wartz is a 55.
Okay, no, 77.
77 is what he raced at Langley. 22, I think, is what he did in the Cars Tours.
Yeah,
For most of them. I think he had another number for the Cars Tour as well,
Toyota
too.
dealership was a sponsor on that car.
What's Butterbean doing? And I thought he was doing some trying to move
Have not heard. Everybody speculated.
Stuff with Cars Tour, of course, did really well there. I think he had a truck race late in the season.
He had two or three. I think he had 3 rides.
Didn't he take like a second in one of them or something?
His first one, I think he did really good. The other 2 didn't do so well, but they Thor Motorsports, is that who it was with? I think.
Well, Thor Sports is the one that runs Fords. I don't think that's what he was running. It could be. It'd be nice. Actually, the truck races use all Ilmore engine, which are basically Chevrolets. That's another NASCAR rule. That's the reason you're seeing advertisement for Roush Yates racing engines. If a truck wins, if they have an Xfinity car win or a Cup car wins, it said you like to win the valve covers off of the winning engine. And they have a contest every time they have a winner, somebody win the valve covers off the car. Truck race that doesn't happen.
All right, Duane, I found it. His name's Connor Hall. He's
yeah. I pulled a blank as well, and I apologize to Connor. He's done really well.
18 wins. 18 wins of 26 starts across 5 different tracks. Earned him the title.
Yeah, he did really well last year too. So he's been ripping them up here the last 2 years.
2 years in a row.
Yeah,
2 years in a row that he did the NASCAR Weekly Series champion.
Right.
He was Langley Speedway 2 years in a row, and then NASCAR champion 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Good, pretty good.
So,
what was that thing about NASCAR? I mean, Langley's little catchphrase about where champions are born or something like that.
Where legends are born. Where legends are born.
And our buddy Al Pearce was going, no, it's not. Well, guess what?
Oh yeah, Al almost tried to stab you for that one, but that's been Langley's little logo for years.
Yeah, well, that was thinking what he was complaining about. He said, no, it's not. Well, now it is.
Oh my goodness, you're following.
Well, it's been a lot of people. I mean, they always like to go back and say that Denny Hamlin raced there with the mini stock series. Well, he was a pain in the ass back then too. So
yeah, that's what you told me.
Well, I mean, it's when you're young. It's always when you're young that you get to be a pain in the butt, and you get better as you grow up. But
well, maybe.
I don't know. Some of them turn into assholes.
Not what I've heard, but what do I know? I haven't met the man personally, so I can't say. Only recently it's been coming off good on his broadcast. He's been doing his podcast stuff.
All right. Well, we lost our production. We lost our production guy. He's out of his lead there.
See, look at his jacket. See what's going on with that. Right?
So where's the race next weekend? Nowhere.
There's still some local racing going on, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I know
out here in Cherokee. I think they're racing in Cherokee this weekend at the dirt track. So
yeah.
Well, it'll be soon. They'll run the snowball derby down in Pensacola, Florida, stuff like that. They'll be racing down there pretty soon. There used to be a track up north that ran a race on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, they got the big deal down at did have that. I think Southern National is going to have a big race Thanksgiving weekend. Thanksgiving Day.
Glad you're back, man. We were worried about you there.
Mother Nature.
Don't they do a turkey trot or some kind of weird race too?
Aren't they doing something down at Southern National, Roger?
They usually are.
For Thanksgiving,
They usually have a Thanksgiving race weekend?
Yeah, I think so. Um,
Paul hasn't said anything to me. He usually goes sometimes, so I don't know if he's going this time or not.
yeah. So the National Thanksgiving Classic. Um, yeah, let me see here. The 29th, big Friday, the 29th, registration, those kind of things.
Snowball
Bid
Derby.
opens, blah blah. It's an all-day affair. Then, um, I thought that Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday race, and then Sunday's when everything finalizes up. I think they finish up stuff there. Um, Late model stock car races, 250 laps. It's a big bowl too. It's a good track down there. It's a good. They do a pretty good job down there.
What about the Snowball Derby?
I
I haven't
mentioned it.
looked that
What
one
is
up.
that?
There we go. Andre put it out there. Florence and All American Speedway are coming up.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought Florence had already been run, but I've been away out of the schedule since I was gone for the weekend. Well, that's about it, I guess. Still some things out there, but haven't heard of too much more news. So I think I'm going to bail because I got another 5:30 in the morning wake up call.
You.
At least you don't have to worry about who's going to win.
That's why I asked Sharon who's going to win next weekend, and she just looked at me like I was a rock because I am.
I get to go to the dentist tomorrow and work on this. So.
Oh,
Dr. Drill
Uh,
McCullough?
Dr. Grinning Barrett.
so Al didn't make it this weekend, although I hope things went well with him last week. He was good to have on last week. Connor won his first race, and that's what I was saying, that he won the first his race with Junior. Andre, who did he replace in that car? It wasn't Junior had in there that moved up to Xfinity Series. I can see the boy's face. Quap, wasn't it? Carson Quapple, wasn't it?
Well, Quapple's a rookie of the year in Cup, I think.
Yeah, Andre's posted. He's typing. I see something there. I think he's the one that moved up to Xfinity Series out of it, and uh, he's got a brother. I think a younger brother that's racing also. A lot of good young kids coming up. Yeah, Carson. That's what Carson Quapple moved up to Xfinity Series, and that's the car I believe that Junior's got Connor Hall moving into. It's a good move for Connor too. I mean, I know I said before it was one
Andre
late model.
Andre did a question on our actual feed here on Facebook saying, how much is all these new media outlets going to cost us on 2025? Well, the only one really, I've already got Amazon Prime, so then I'll be able to see those races I was talking about. TNT is a cable broadcast channel. CW is
Yeah.
actually an air broadcast channel.
Well, keep
Uh,
it. It's
ABC
all.
and NBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, of course, are broadcast channel, and Fox. Fox is an air broadcast channel. Now, FS1 is going to be carrying some of the races, and they're a cable
Right.
channel. So if you've got cable, which most people do nowadays, even though you can get a lot of stuff with an antenna even today,
But the Prime
not going
Video
to
is going
cost
to be
you
the
much
one.
more than what you've already paid for Watch TV. In
Yeah,
fact, I
Prime
probably
Video's
overpaid
got.
what
Yeah,
little is
Prime Video is going to take 5 of them. One of them being the Mexico race.
Yeah, so that's going to be on the Amazon. It's going to be
Yeah,
the race before the 600. 600. I think the Mexico race is after that. So it's about 5 races on Amazon Prime. Four. So I think
it's
four.
yeah.
Anyway,
For Amazon, it's going to be Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, Mexico City, and then Pocono.
be some
And
interesting.
do we know? I haven't seen Xfinity. I'm wondering if Mexico is just going to be the Cup races. Is that? Have anybody heard that? Is it going to just only be Cup races?
I think it's just Cup.
Okay, that would make sense. It is going to be an expensive race to get set up and be ready for it down there. So running one show is going to be hard enough for them.
I think they're probably going to be running basically the same racetrack that they ran the Formula One race.
Who
The interesting thing about that is the way they got the track set up running around. It actually goes through the middle of the football stadium. They've got that baseball stadium.
oh man. Should be interesting. It is odd that Amazon Prime got that one, but then that's what I wonder what they're making off that 5 race contract. That's got to be some huge money. And then USA has got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the playoff races, and NBC too.
Well, what's interesting is they're actually bringing it. Besides, Prime is new, but they're actually bringing a lot of old organizations that used to carry the races back
Yeah.
before NASCAR started controlling all those races because they were scattered all over the place. You had, the whole complaint was, it was on TNT one week, and then it was on NBC one week, and then it was on this one week, and that one week. So you go like 5 weeks and have 5 different, broadcast partners. But
Well, Amazon's spending a lot of money for stuff like the races. My son worked. You may or may not have seen it, but Amazon Prime actually broadcasts election coverage led by Brian Williams out in California, and a host of teams. My son was helping out a little bit with some of that. So they're branching out like all the rest of them.
Yeah.
They're hoping to get more subscribers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you got to pay the extra money for Prime, and I've got a Fire Stick on one of my TVs, so you basically had to do Prime to get the Fire Stick activated, and then you
yeah.
can watch
That's
all kinds of
nuts.
stuff. I watch when I'm getting dressed in the morning, to go to work. That's where I'm watching the weather channels on at the Fire Stick equipped TV. I
That's
mean, that's
good.
upstairs in my bedroom. That's where I've got it on. Um,
Some people ain't going to be able to afford to get the Prime though. I mean, it's like what $100
Well,
a year
but
or something.
it's $139 a year, but they're depending on your service that you want. But it's only 5 races they're going to miss out on. It's just a shame. It's going to be a closed network for just Amazon Prime, and it's a pay service. So just like Duane was just saying, the rest of them, if you tie it in with cable TV, you're pretty much going to be able to get it, or the
there's going to be
sports app. But
highlights of that stuff. You can guarantee there'll be highlights. So the
We'll see how
NASCAR is
it
going to
affects
own.
it. If the
NASCAR is going to own all that stuff anyway. They'll run that ad at the end of the race.
yeah,
Thank you for watching. Brought to you
well,
by NASCAR, yada yada yada, and all that kind of stuff.
I wonder if they'll rebroadcast it like the next day on FS1 though, like they have been doing some of the races.
Well, that's something that should be
yeah,
determined, I suppose, at least as far as
yeah.
the public's concerned.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean,
I know
Amazon would
we have
probably
Prime, but
broadcast.
a lot of people don't have it. So
Amazon would probably have its streaming availability after the race is over. I mean,
Well, NASCAR owns the rights to it to a point, but
right.
this one is going
NASCAR
to be
could
funny.
put it wherever they want to, basically. Depends on how the contract's written, of course. I mean, they may
Yeah.
not be able to actually.
you know how they they do the replays all the time on Fox Sports 1 of the races. So I'm wondering
Right,
if that's what
FS2
they'll do.
and
Yeah, they
FS1,
do.
yeah.
But they'll see. I mean, they're going to see when the viewing numbers come out, how it affects it. So,
Well,
They
I can
will.
guarantee you that if they do these Prime races, NASCAR puts them on one of their other outlets that they have, like FS1 or FS2, to show the race, even if it's one of these shortened highlight versions that they do sometimes, like these football games, you'll see they cut everything but the actual play,
Oh,
you know.
excuse me. Yeah,
Then they can show it in an hour or two, and they probably
yeah.
get a pop in viewership. So we'll see.
Okay. All right, gang. I'm seriously going to bail this time around.
Yep. Yep.
Glad I made it almost in time. I was close anyway.
Close
Thanks to
enough. I was
Costco.
there early, and then I had to run upstairs a little bit, take care of some
Yeah.
something, and then
We all have a good week. I don't know what
yeah,
the upcoming weekend is going to bring, but we'll see.
yeah,
What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is, and I don't have to work tomorrow. Yay me!
Yeah, you. Good for you. All right, Sharon, get that smile on your face there and tell everybody we're live from where? Roger's house.
Office.
not me.
Brought to you live from PC Doctors in beautiful Pink Street in Hampton, Virginia.
Hampton, Virginia.
It's Let's
How
Talk
far
Racing.
are you guys from Richmond?
90
Uh,
90 miles. basically.
Oh, so like an
80.
hour and a half still. Okay.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little under. Depends. Yeah.
About an
That's
So you
hour,
not
guys are
driving.
actually
2 hour
closer
drive
to
recently.
Martinsville than you are Richmond.
If I'm
You're-
driving, it's probably about 70, 75 minutes.
I've been there riding shotgun with him, and Roger was in the
Yep.
back seat, or David was in the back
Well,
seat. Right there.
let's say if he tells you I'll meet you for lunch, he don't mean he's going to meet you. He means he'll be there waiting on you.
I gotcha. So you guys are actually closer to Martinsville than you are to Richmond.
No,
No, no,
No?
no.
no. Martinsville's what, Roger?
Martinsville,
About
the western
four
part of the
hours?
state,
4 hours.
way out there.
4 hours or so.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's too
Yeah,
many
we can make
places.
it to Richmond. We can make it to Richmond International Raceway in about an hour and 20 minutes. And that's not driving too fast.
Yeah.
That's
gotcha.
keeping up
You
with
can't.
traffic, as my mother used to say, which runs about 70 miles an hour on that track. On
During
that.
during race weekend, when you get within about 15 miles of the track, it drops down to about 35, 45 miles an hour
Yeah, and there's state troopers all over the place.
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh, of course
Yep.
there is.
Yeah.
We went up there one year. Queen Elizabeth
Someplace.
actually came, and it was actually what came down to Richmond for some reason.
Oh, wow.
The bicentennial year or something like that. We got up there. Actually, it was one of the races we went to 2007 or 2008. One of those, I forget. I just found some film I took, and I haven't had it developed yet, so hopefully I'll get that done pretty soon. We started seeing state troopers on every crossover in the middle of the interstate, and my friend who was driving and I was taking, he didn't know anything about auto racing at all, called his wife and said, "This is crazy. There's state troopers everywhere." She said, "Don't you know Queen Elizabeth's in Richmond?" I said, "What?" I don't know what all that about. She came
Oh,
down,
my goodness.
come see the rebels in there, you you know,
Yeah.
you disregarding my ancestor, George III, and
Hey,
starting this country.
did everybody get a Zoom update tonight? I noticed now down on the bottom corner, instead of the word leave, there's somebody, a man walking out a red door there to leave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it also
That's
says up in the top left-hand corner, Zoom Workplace,
it
which is
sure does.
a little different. I noticed that. I didn't notice the
Interesting.
guy at the leave guy, but they're getting
Yeah.
cute. Little
There we
cartoon
go.
deal there, guy walking out the door.
I see the little leave guy though. Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty cute. All right. Speaking of the little leave guy, I'm going to be the big leave guy and leave.
All
Y'all have a
right.
great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll chat with you again soon. Be
Catch you
safe.
next week.
Catch you next week on what?
Talk
1, 2, 3.
racing.
Let's talk
Let's
Let's
talk
racing.
racing. I look at Roger.